over a plate of enchiladas and a bowl of frijoles on the Riverwalk. Just as we were about to park, LeBron James let out a tremendous fart. A gaseous thing of such immense power that he flew over La Villita, bounced over the Alamo, and ended up on top of the Hemisphere Tower. I shouted up to him, "Hey LeBron, I always knew you were full of hot air, but I didn't know you could make it all the way up there." He was hanging on by only one dedo, and that's when he let out another big feather. Poor LeBron came tumbling down, the mighty crown fell off his head. I told him to order the rice instead, pero no. And now, pues, King James is dead. That was Calavera for LeBron James, everybody, by poet Anthony Flores. Just trying to subtly and stealthily transition us into the next and final act that will be hitting the stage, which are a group of wonderful poets, 4 individual poets, 2 of which have represented the San Antonio, the city of San Antonio at the Poetry Slam, the National Poetry Slam, which is an annual event where poets from our city compete against 75 plus other teams from all over the nation. And so 2 of those who have represented our city are some of those who make up the poets you're about to see. Poets, are we ready? Poets are ready, but we're still working out some sound action. So, don't forget about tomorrow's events, everybody, which you'll find in this lovely little schedule calendar. That's right, pick one up, pick one up. And does anybody out there have a Bud Light in their hand? Well, we'd like to thank Bud Light anyway, one of our sponsors, along with Taco Cabana, San Antonio Current, Paseo del Rio, Jew 210, who has a stand right over yonder if you want to go visit them. Starbucks, also one of our lovely, lovely sponsors. Don't forget about them. The City of San Antonio and the the Office of Creative and Culture, Department of Creative and Cultural Development. Yes, what a mouthful. And we're still working on the rest of the sounds. We're good to go. And without further, I would say ado, but it's more like stalling. So the poets you will see are Eddie Vega, Raquel Torres, Jess, and Jesus Jacinto Cardona, who I will give each of them a little fluffier introduction when it comes time for them to do their individual poems. But for now, they are going to greet you and open up the stage with a group piece, all 4 of them. Please put your hands together for some of the most lovely poets of San Antonio.
Check. 1, check.
Okay. Ooh, very nice.
Good afternoon, San Antonio.
Good afternoon.
Good evening. Are we here?
Buenas tardes.
Buenas tardes.
Buenas tardes.
You can hear us? Can you hear us over there?
Very
No,
good.
behind you. I mean, that's good there, but
Way over there. By the Kalaka over there.
can the Kalaka hear us?
Yes, the Kalaka can hear you.
The Kalaka people can hear us.
So welcome to Muertos Fest, and thank you so much for choosing our stage to hear our beautiful poetry. We're actually going to start off with a group piece from all of us, so I hope you enjoy.
As a child, I wasn't scared.
I wasn't scared of the dark.
Or the space under my bed.
I wasn't scared of my backyard.
Or the long hallway from my bedroom to the bathroom.
But before you start thinking I was brave and courageous, you should know that though I wasn't scared,
I was scared.
that's right, scared is Mexican scared.
And there is nothing we Mexicans are scared of more than
El Cucuy.
Every culture has a cucuy.
To the gringos,
The boogeyman.
To the Boricuas,
El Cuco. In Germany, Busman.
in Russia,
Baba Yaga.
¡Ahí
viene el Cucuy. Cómete los frijoles.
Or the cucuy will come.
Finish your homework.
Or the Cucuy will come.
Báñate or the cucuy will eat you.
But
won't I taste bad?
Cállate, mira, ahí viene el cucuy.
I grew up and I thought I'd gotten rid of the cucuy, but now he's back.
El Cucuy is everywhere.
He's on the television, on the radio,
On the Twitter,
On the Facebook,
in my email.
on the Twitter. He really likes the Twitter.
El Cucuy says my parents are drug dealers.
El Cucuy wants to ban Muslims.
El Cucuy wants to date his own daughter.
El cucuy wants to grab women by their privates.
El cucuy wants to build a wall and make Mexicans pay for it. We tried to write a list of everyone that El Cucuy has insulted.
But the poem got too long.
But you know what? The Cucuy was always in the dark. We defeated El Cucuy because he was scared of the light.
He even says he does better with the uneducated.
In other words, the unenlightened.
So sabes qué? We're going to get educated.
We're going to defeat El Cucuy
by becoming enlightened.
And we'll tell El Cucuy he can go back to the cave where he came from.
Maybe he'll find ISIS there.
And together, we will kill
Oh,
his chances of winning in November. The cucuy, I ain't scared no more.
Give it up for the poets, everybody! Wait for them to open it up, right? Now put your hands together for the soul voice of one of those voices you just heard. It's gonna be a treat. I know it's gonna be Jess Gonzalez!
Sorry, I'm gonna choose the taller one. Hey everyone, it's good to see all y'all's pretty faces. Thanks to all my friends and my partner for coming out and supporting me. So this is going out to my tata. He was the first person who I lost. Para tata. This is to revive your story, to recharge your narrative, to immortalize your history. I can still hear your voice reverbing through my bones. Estás cantando canciones de tus antepasados, and I am here bearing my soul, my words of triumphs and tragedies. Y como usted, I am a resilient warrior, and this is my ofrenda to you. May you dance with me tonight. Dia de los Muertos is more than the decorations and the plates sold in H-E-B and Michael's. It is more than pre-packaged sugar skulls or the $5 Starbucks Calavera cookies. Decolonizing death means to celebrate life of our antepasados and not for big businesses to commodify our culture and repackage our traditions to capitalize and accumulate wealth. Our cultures cannot be sold. Our traditions matter, and they are worth more than $5. Dia de los Muertos is exactly that, a day to honor our dead. The veil is thinning, and the spirits are among us. Please respect them. This poem, this love, is to remember my grandfather, Heriberto Gonzalez. Tata, your quick wit shined the most when you managed to see the light in dark struggles, like when Uncle Sam took 3 out of 5 sons to fight in Vietnam War. And after being married to your soulmate for 56 years, death called for her, but she hung on as long as she could with your help. You held her wrinkled, stiff hands and whispered te amo, then 2 months later you followed her to the stars. Catharsis subdues and chicharas fall into rhythm with my heart, and I know that you and my ancestors are with me. Affirmations of your support illuminates the darkness of loneliness, mourning, and deaths. Thought that your heart is made out of golden maize, strong and dried out from all the years for caring for nosotros. My tata is gone, but I can still hear him singing. I can still remember my quinceañera that my eyes stung so much as if someone estaba cortando cebollas right next to me. You stood tall, a gallant señor, morenito y alto. The oxygen tank clung onto you like the cancer in your lungs, and you struggled to breathe, but you shrugged off the pain and removed the oxygen mask just to dance with me. And it was just you and I, and the world stopped, and you sang. Tú eres mi vaquero in the sky, my tejano en las estrellas. My tata is gone, but I can still hear him singing. When I was 23, I realized que todos somos artistas. You ignited my love for música y colores, believed in my story. Dancing is in my soul, and that is how I push through these dolores. Speaking in front of my colleagues, trying to pronounce every letter with clear diction and articulation. I remember your proverb, mija. Don't worry, don't let it get to you. You'll always have music, just listen to the beat of your heart. I find my light with the support of knowing you, Mama, and all my ancestors have sacrificed so much to get me here. I'll sing your songs, even the ones of moscas parar en la pared, vestida de mujer. And I know I'll survive because I'm standing on the shoulders of giants, como usted. And I still think about you every day. My first loss, my first heartache, my tata is gone, but I can still hear him singing. Thank you. So that is my Dia de los Muertos poem, and this is part of a larger collection of growing and healing. My language is loose like my tongue. Mi lengua es suelta como mi trenzas tristes. My language is a conglomeration of communities that shape words into weapons, syllables into songs, syntax into sex, sentences into stories, and poetry into healing. And I'm proud of that. I fought for these words, and I'm fighting for this healing, and I have been. But before my own trauma, my mother had hers. Teacher slapped her little brown hands when she could not clearly articulate sandwich. There are no G's in sandwich, Maria. My mom wished she could have gotten the hell out of there. To this day, she refuses to eat sandwiches and doesn't have a high school diploma. Decades later, as an abandoned adolescent, I too had my loose tongue ripped out, thrown against the wall. It fell to the floor. It slithered and it fought to reach its warm, wet home. But they sliced it up and they fed it to the dogs, and I didn't think that I could piece the pores, taste, heal the taste buds, the broken flesh, the infected cavities. Living without my loose tongue pushed me to the brink of insanity. And like those blooming red rosas sitting in front of my abuelas, my tongue formed thorns. And like a starfish, I regenerated my amputated language. Y sabes que? I learned to love my wild tongue. And like how I say, eres un pinche perro. See how I roll the R in perro? My non-conforming lengua is a weapon, a shapeshifter. It rolls and it vibrates to emphasize that yes, Donald Trump is a fucking dog. And yes, I am ostracized and then tokenized and hypersexualized, but I see my code switching as a skill. Switching and shifting between Spanish and working class English, academic and poetic. My language crosses borders, transcends ideas. My language is listening. It loosens to evolve into a remedy of healing, illuminating moments of my tíos taunting my mother, calling her loose. They shout Maria es una grosera, and they tell her that she's dirty, and the lies followed her to school and into dark rooms where men probed her, investigating their looseness. You know what we need to lose? The idea that all vaginas are the same size and shape. The idea that all women have vaginas. The idea that there's a fucking hymen and it breaks when you lose your virginity. Cut that shit loose. It's a fucking myth, and not like the cool myths of La Llorona, La Lechuza, or the Donkey Lady, which all happen to be in the south side of San Anto, but my homegirls swear that the La Llorona lives in the west side. This is me reclaiming loose. It is not society's demonizing idea of loose. While magical realism is studied in institutions taught by white professors that cannot roll the R in La Llorona, they forget that Chicanos live daily. We are surviving by resisting, we are speaking, and we are empowering. By loving ourselves, we are decolonizing. I reclaim loose to be chingona, to be chicana. Loose is to be free, loose to be yourself. My tongue is loose. Thanks. Rocky Torres, she is a Salvadorican community organizer and spoken word poet. She is pursuing a master's degree in English with a focus in Latina literature at the University of Texas at San Antonio. Raquel has performed her poetry at the Blah Poetry Spot, Poodle Slam, Texas A&M University, and other venues. Community events and public schools in Texas. She represented the regional Poodle Slam team at Southern Pride and took third place at Southwest Shoutout in 2016. Her work has appeared in St. Sucia and Third Woman Press. Let's hear it for Rocky!
Hi everyone, how are you doing? I'm Rocky. My poems are about familia and our identity, so hopefully they will touch you of all ages and sizes, okay? A classmate once told me, Raquel, you look so smart for being Mexican. As if it were a compliment, as if I should feel gratitude that they took the time to acknowledge my existence, put my intelligence under review, congratulate me on being an exception to their racism. They smile across the table, waiting for me to reply. Thank you so much. I've never heard that before. You're absolutely right. I contemplated on whether I should stay silent. Tattoo his comment with wet ink on my skin. Let it stay with me forever. Be mistaken for a childhood scar. Or could it hit them? I wish I had hit them with years of lessons I was taught, like my mom telling me not to play with stereotypes, bad influences, company I did not want to keep. I remember her yelling, always be on time, Raquel, always be on time. They will expect you not to show up, be absent for the rest of your life. Cover up, Raquel, you don't want that type of attention. It will grow inside of you, leave you to walk the world barefoot with pain. Mom, my brother, washing his dark skin, tells me, stay out of the sun, Raquel, you don't want to get too dark. The sun's violent rays not only change your skin color, but people's perspective of you. Boyfriends gifting me with straighteners, want me to be tamer, leaving my hair hot but not spicy, asking me, why does your hair have to take up so much space? Remember, boys don't like to play with Pringles, Raquel, let it be straight. Teachers guiding my tongue into interrogation rooms, checking his papers at the door, undoing the speech impediment I picked up from my mother. Make it sound smoother, make it sound legitimate, make it sound more educated. English is not supposed to have a Spanish accent, Raquel. Raquel, you are so smarter than this. You should just stop being so Mexican, just stop being. And I wish I would have told them that no, I want to be. I wish I could have hit them. Thank you. Alright. So since it's Dia de los Muertos, I love salsa. Does anyone love salsa? I know we can do our cumbias and all that stuff, but can we do salsa? Okay, I see some of y'all. So I love Celia Cruz. I grew up with Celia Cruz, you know. We all know, like, azúcar! Can we all say azúcar? Azúcar! Ah, yes! All right, cool. Well, this poem is dedicated to her. I've always been conscious of my battling tongue, of being too assimilated to speak my mother's language, of the rejection of English because of my brown skin. Sometimes I want to refuse to speak. refuse, my mouth movement, conscious, it might be too ugly for either side to hear. But I remember something Celia Cruz once said in all her colorful outfits of sweet courage of azúcar. My English is not very good looking, and I'm very glad to say that. She has an unapologetic accent, point blank. Her English, is not very good looking. In one brave line, her less than classic beauty has no pity, but has the ganas to be a good looking, pure, badass mommy. Esa mujer tiene tumbao. And for all the Spanglish, can't find the correct words in Spanish, English, pocha mamis, Celia speaks to us. Porque sí, tenemos tumbao. Forget the, wow, you speak English really good, or do you know why Spanish is so important, or shame on your mothers for not teaching you Spanish. Don't worry con eso. Check them with, yes, I speak English well, not good, to answer your grammatically incorrect statement. I'm not trying to be anyone soaking, yes, I know Spanish is important. My skin is a constant reminder that language is always trying to erase me. And my mother, she was trying to preserve me, so don't shun her for showing me how to survive. Our broken tongue does not need to fall apart because of pendejos. Our language lives in between, constantly being misunderstood and lost in translation. So no, I will not apologize for my incorrect Spanish. I'm reclaiming what was taken, and wounds take time to heal. No, I'm not trying to be white. English was my first language, so don't call me a coconut like it will crack me open and find me hollow. See me like sun. And all the colorful outfits of sweet courage of azúcar rolling off my tongue, mixing sugar and salt to recreate flavors from recipes, trial and error. Celia, I want my tongue to be looking like yours porque mi español no te mires bien tan bien, but you know what? Mujeres, there will always be people not wanting to hear how good looking we are. That was my time, but I am definitely going to bring up another poet, Eddie Vega. Before I do my little introduction about him, but he's amazing. He's also with me we do photo slams together, and we've done, we competed regionally at, what's Photo Slam? Photo Slam is like the only national recognized poetry slam venue here in San Antonio, and we competed regionally at North Carolina and also
the Southern Fried Poetry Slam and the Southwest Shootout in Denver, Colorado. Puro Slam is every Tuesday night at the Corova at 10 p.m. So come on and join us. It's the only nationally recognized poetry slam in San Antonio. So come out and join us. The Denver Southwest Shootout. This team, well, this is half the team or 2/5 of the team, and we took 3rd place. We're very proud of that. So, and Puro Slam, thank you, very nice. And we've done this poem together a lot. However, we haven't done it together in like about 2 or 3 months. So then we have phones that help us to do that.
All right.
So we say thank you, Google Docs.
Thank you. Ready?
Sana, sana, colita rana. Si no sanas hoy, sanarás mañana. You remember those words, don't you?
It was how my family healed me.
Gently rubbing scrapes and bruises, invoking a silly incantation.
Magical rhyme shared with tender hands to help soothe a child's pain.
Heal, heal, little frog tail. If you don't heal today, you'll heal tomorrow. Tomorrow. Isn't that just like a good Mexican to put things off? We live in mañanas. And there's nothing we put off more than seeking medical care.
Arato se me quita.
It'll go away. Rub some dirt or Vaseline on it. If it's real bad, we got Vicks Vapor Rub.
Mommy says it cures everything.
I picture myself as a grown-up rubbing Vicks on my kid's chest when they had an overnight cough, or at least rubbing a shin and saying, "Ay, mija, sana, sana, colita rana."
Mommy said the pain will go away soon.
But it wasn't so.
Some scrapes and bruises were formed from unfaithful mouths, broken vases. Those tender hands that healed me became the fists we ran away from.
My daughter was 8, and my son was 5.
I was 14.
When it was our marriage that needed therapy.
And I learned that my father could easily pretend that words don't hurt as much as fists.
We ran out of magic words. Vicks really can't cure everything. When we broke the news to them, my youngest said he thought it would be cool to have 2 houses. But my daughter understood. She joined me in the walk-in closet where I was packing.
I saw my mommy on the floor, jamming her life in a small suitcase, said we needed to run away.
And I
She
held
hugged
her.
me. She
I
said
said
she
I
was
was sorry.
sorry.
She confided that she'd overheard her mommy talking, and her 8-year-old voice and her 80-year-old eyes told me that she knew what was going to happen.
Mommy's exhausted face asked me for permission to leave her pain in this house. Her strength looked fragile, and I realized that tears aren't cures.
And I wish that I could rub my fingers on her heart, say some silly words, and make her feel better. But there aren't enough frog tales out there.
There aren't enough magic words to say.
There's no incantation I can invoke that can heal this wound. She got the kids, I got the loneliness. Someone else owns the house, but the pain is all mine.
Mommy fears that I will associate love as being broken, since my family is not whole. I share years of anger with my father and decades of heartbreak with my mother. I grew up with a kind of pain that sana can no longer heal.
Because I need a better incantation. Like,
I'm sorry.
I will be better.
You are enough.
I never meant for this to happen.
I
still love you. Pero sabes que, my little munchkin,
Mommy,
we're good Mexicans.
we can ignore what's in front of us better than anyone else.
And we can put off this hurt until tomorrow. All right, so how are we doing this evening? Are we liking our poetry? I have some former students in the audience. They're trying to distract me while I'm doing my poetry. That is just not, that's not cool, man. All right. I like to call this piece my South Texas love poem, because every poet likes to do love poetry, so here's mine. I knew there was something about her. Something about the way that she talked. Something about that look in her eye. Something in that, like, California way in which she saw the world. And then, after a week of spending time together, we sat on camp chairs with a great big group of people overlooking Medina Lake. And she said something this time. Man, she said something. She said something that just confirmed why it was that I just didn't like her. This time it was the chicharras that set her off. She said, oh my God, that noise. How can you stand to like live here around that constant noise? Listen, woman, I said. In my head, of course, because my mother taught me never to speak to any lady like that. Don't do that. But out loud, I did say to her these things. I said, that noise is the chicharra, or cicada to your people. It's a soundtrack to every summer that I've known. It's a sound that tells me that I'm home. It's a sound that reminds me of sitting at my grandmother's table eating pan dulce and drinking orange soda. Of my parents' screen door snapping back because I've gone outside to take a ride around the neighborhood. Of convincing my little cousins to pick those chili piquins from my grandmother's salsa and then watch when they rub sweat from their eyes and they start to cry. You gotta get really close to stop the chicharra. So I knew that as long as it was chirping, and cuckooing was not coming. It was the last sound that we heard before plunging into the pool under an August sun, and the first sound that we heard when the water released our ears from their captivity. It was there every morning as I walked 4 blocks to Woodrow Wilson Elementary. It was there during every game of Chinese freeze tag, when the Lamar Boxers middle school football team lost their last chance to score a touchdown. For the entire season, it was the only sound louder than their sobs. In high school, when I stood at attention during 2-a-day band practice, it was the only sound louder than my heartbeat. Rachel Jackson had these gray-green eyes and auburn hair. She had long matched that Texas twang and said, "Eddie Vega, I'm gonna knock you upside the head if you don't ask me out." When I stood outside her door waiting to pick her up for homecoming, it was the only sound louder than my heartbeat. It's a sound that inspired accordion music and chancla dancing and cruising down Military, waving down the Raspa truck, holding hands with your crush at Woodlawn Lake on the 4th of July, and of course, barbacoa and Big Red with your family on a Saturday morning. It's a sound that says that a Whataburger with cheese and jalapenos will always kick in and out. Buns. And we don't wear sweaters on our beaches. And the Thunder got lucky last year, and the Spurs are back this season. And we will, when Fiesta's over, right here in this plaza, it doesn't matter because the summer lasts forever. And we're gonna float our troubles away down a cold, cold river. And the chicharras are gonna be there all along the banks, the soundtrack of our summer. So, ¿sabes qué? Get up off that camp chair, girl, and go back to California, because it's the sound that reminds me that I am a son of South Texas, and there ain't nothing else that I'd rather be. right. I like doing poems in the summer and or about summer and about South Texas. So here's another one. San Antonio has its own superhero. His uniform is a pair of jeans, a plaid shirt, and a Spurs hat. And his vehicle, he's got two. One is a customized multi-cycle lowered with some sweet rims, and the other he pushes around with the two hardest working legs in the business, and you'll know that he's coming because of his clarion call. Ring, ring. He's the Knight of Nogalitos, the warrior of Guadalupe, the champion of Cesar Chavez, the conqueror of Culebra. He's the savior of summer, here to bring relief to the tired, hungry, thirsty, weary citizens of San Anto, ready to melt under an August or October sun. Paleta Man. That's right. You watching your little brothers on the playground? He's there. Watching you playing pickup basketball with your boys on that blacktop? He's there. Finishing the last of fajitas off the grill? He's there. Hanging with your girl, holding hands in the gazebo? He's there. Getting out of that algebra class that you had to retake in summer school? He's there for you too. You don't call Paleta Man with some signal from the sky. No, he rounds the corner and comes towards you when you least expected it, but most needed him. And you exchange universal hand signals and head bobs, and if you can handle it, a whistle. Paleta Man makes magic appear from his box with a no-look reach into his steps, give you what your heart desires. He's got lemon, lime, coconut, and chocolate. 2 types of strawberry and horchata. Pineapple, banana, amaretto, pina colada, pecan, vanilla, raisin, tamarindo, arroz con leche, mango, melon, sandia, your crazy cream. I've even dill pickle flavored too. I don't know who likes that. Somebody must. But something's for everyone. He's satisfying your palate from the push cart. He brings you joy, and all he asks for is $1. Hey, he's trying to support his family. So buy one for your little brother too, and your cousin, and the guy who's been on your summer crush, and the guy who's been on the bench all day asking for loose change, because everybody deserves the joy of a paleta. ¿Sabes qué? Take out a 20 and play Oprah in your barrio. You get one, and you get one, and you get one. Everybody gets a paleta. So give it up for the Paleta Man, the coolest superhero we've got. Hey, Paleta Man, dame 2 de tamarindo, por favor. All right, I think I can do one more, and then before bringing up somebody else, the last poet. It is a political season, and sometimes I get political in my poetry, and this is such a poem, but it's about us. According to local experts, there is a current demographic shift caused by forces both interior and exterior to San Antonio and South Texas, where people of Mexican descent are moving in greater and greater numbers into the exclusive enclave of Olmos Park. Respectfully, I disagree. For it is my contention, and I shall provide evidence to support this assertion, that Mexicans have always lived in Olmos Park. Because when you stop to think about it, we Mexicans live in a constant state of Olmos. No, hombre, vato, I almost had a car accident on the way over here. Hey, we almost won that game, man. If only I hadn't hurt my finger. No, hombre, I almost won the scratch-off lottery. I just needed that one more number. We almost went to the beach on Saturday, but Jenny got the diarrhea. When my sister got her first tattoo, my abuelita almost had a heart attack. See, these statements above each have their air of innocence about them. However, continuing to live in Olmos Park has some serious consequences that lead those in our culture away from sufficient success. Hey, Junior almost got a job with them, but they wanted him to work on the weekends. Janie almost finished college, but she got pregnant. Jerry almost went to the Marines, but he went to Toyota instead. Hey, and Johnny almost got away with it, man, but they gave him the breathalyzer. Could you imagine if Cesar almost called his farm worker friends together? If Henry B. or Julian almost ran for public office? If Selena almost picked up that microphone? If Edward James almost tried out for the role of Jaime Escalante? See, the problem with all of us living in Olmos Park is that we live like stereotypes, all together in one house. It sits uncomfortably on the corner of Quien Sabe Court and If Only Lane. The white paint is chipped, the foundation is cracked, the house leans a little bit towards the left. 55% of Hispanics in Texas almost finish high school. Of those that do move on, 49% almost finish college. In the last national election, 46% of eligible Latinos voted. That means that about 12.6 million people almost made their voices heard. Ted Cruz, almost Latino. See, the difference between us dreaming of a change and actually realizing it is an attitude that acts to make the change. If we don't change our cultural attitude, we will always be almost successful. So why are we trying to move into Almost Park instead of moving into a dorm room or a boardroom or the mayor's office, the governor's mansion, or even the White House? Hey, it's time to get the heck out of Almost. I forgot to tell you that we're actually called the Muertos Poet Society, okay? But the dean of the Muertos Poet Society this evening is none other than Jesse Cardona. And Jesse Cardona is an educator, premier educator. He is the author of several books. One is called At the Wheel of a Blue Chevrolet. The other one is called Pan Dulce, and you'll know him. He loves to do poetry about food and he plays with words, and he's been around doing this thing for a long time. So give it up for Jesse Cardona.
Good evening. All right. I want you to say pan dulce on the count of three. 1, 2, 3. We can do better. All right, one more time. 1, 2, 3. Now shout out your favorite pan de dulce. Let me hear it. Concha, una piedra, empanada, and my Chicano classic, una dona. Right? And I love, personally, El Chamuco, because he's the burnt one, the devil, the eye of the devil. All right, La Superior, Panaderia, La Poblanita. Come on, let's get it. Bedoys, La Popular. I went to Chicago, and I went to a bakery. It was called El Nopal, and I think the Cubs need to eat some pan dulce so they can win. So here's my poem. Tonight we're celebrating the lives of the people we love. And I have a wonderful line by Antonio Porcia, a Portuguese, who says, Vivemos con la esperanza de llegar a ser una memoria. We all live in the hopes of becoming a memory. Pan dulce. I remember riding my fenderless bike to la panaderia del pueblo. Sometimes I would go alone. Sometimes I would dream I took abuelo by the hand. I remember pan dulce tasting even sweeter after confessing my sins at St. Joseph Catholic Church. Nothing like dulcified bread for crucified bones. I remember standing in front of the glass displays, telling El Panadero, I'll take one of those, and one of these, and one of those. Unlike the cool Pachuco who came in asking for, órale, pan de polvo, un regalo, y un hueso azucarado to go. I had not mastered the names of pan dulce. So imagine my thrill. Imagine the authority in my chavalon bones when I return asking for dos huesos azucarados, 2 sugared bones to go. Yes, I remember pan dulce, La Virgen de Guadalupe, bordered by blue neon lights, and how the smell of canela reminded me of abuelito's piloncillo skin. Thank you. We all stand on the shoulders of giants, and we have had so many that we've loved and lost. But we are here because we stand on their shoulders. My mom was illiterate, neither English nor Spanish. And when I was a child, I would read The Velveteen Rabbit in English. And I would tell Mom, but Mom, you don't know what I'm saying. And she would tell me, no, it's okay, léelo como quiera. Read me The Velveteen Rabbit. No, Mother never read to me. The first time she ever saw the inside of a school was when she took me by the hand. No, mother never read to me. She was more into the blue, indigo, a Monday morning laundry. With Radio Jalapeno on her windowsill, she was more into the sizzle of cominos and picadillo plates. More into the grip of an early morning broom, sweeping dust balls across linoleum floors. No, mother never read to me. She was more into standing by her ironing board under a single light, pressing sleeves and cuffs late into the night. No, mother never read to me. But in her eyes, I could see her dreams were puffs of past cotton fields. Thank you. And may she rest in peace, just like my dad. And my two children were right here, they're grandparents. And if I read one from my mom, I have to read from my dad. He'll get mad, he'll get angry. Because father is the #1 small town fry cook, walking home from the Palace Grill on Highway 281, escorted by a line of cats, stray cats, smelling the salmon croquettes, the jumbo shrimp that slept in the Gulf just last night. Yes, father is the #1 small town fry cook, coming home on callous feet, lugging a bucket full of day-old donuts. But on cold December mornings, he rolls up a newspaper, strikes a match, lights up the old dream oven. He is going to make pancakes. He is going after the ultimate pancake, the one that always gets away, the #1 pancake, without a mix. He whips up the batter. Just like a Hall of Fame kitchen jockey cannot stop, he makes stacks and stacks of pancakes. Despierten! Ya están listos los pancakes! Come and get 'em! They're going like hotcakes. Thank you. And my last one here for the evening. All of you, give yourselves a big hand for all the poets, los muertos, who read for you this evening. Thank you so much. And since we can smell them, we can smell the food. El poema de la tortilla. Once you have seen one tortilla, have you seen them all? Are all tortillas the same? What is there about an early morning stack of steaming tortillas? Is it the touch of the human hand? Does impart something mystical to la tortilla? Can you truly say you have never met a tortilla in your life? Are tortillas some of your best friends? Do you remember a little dog running along Commerce Street with a tortilla in its mouth? Is one of your all-time pet peeves reaching for tortillas to finish off your breakfast chilaquiles, migas, those chopped tortillas with chili sauce, but finding out someone has taken the last of the last tortillas? Que lástima. Did you ever beg your mom to let you flatten out a tortilla with a palote? And did your practiced tortilla come out looking like a baby map of the United States, toda chueca? Yes, I know you did. Were you ever chastised by your mom when you were tempted to count las tortillas stacking up in the little souvenir basket from Mexico? Do you remember your mom platicando with her comadre and uttering this famous line? Mijo, mija, turn la tortilla, por favor. And you would try to do it, you get fingers all burned, you use a knife or a fork. And my mom would tell me, if you use a fork and pop the little bubble, you're never gonna get married. So I started stabbing and for the little bubble even more. Do you remember doing your homework on the kitchen table while you were doing your homework? Can you still hear the patient rhythm of your mom's rolling pin? Can you still hear the gentle slap of masa amazing tortillas? Thank you. Gracias.